Good morning to those who listen. It is December 16th, 2023, 12:28 a.m. And this is going to be part one of not sure how many, probably at least 3 parts because there's so much in here. Hidden messages, predictive programming for Leave the World Behind. I'm going to go through, there's so many things. But I'm going to try to go through it as quickly as possible. A lot of stuff has already been pointed out before. I will point those out again. But there's a few things in here that I haven't seen anybody talking about. So I don't know if I'm the only one that found this. There's a couple things I found that I don't think anybody else has seen or talked about. So we'll see. And if there's anything that you see that I, happen to miss, then please throw a comment out there too. This is this movie, and spoiler alert too, if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to watch the movie first before you hear all these things that happen. Spoiler alert, I guess. I actually listened to all the spoiler alerts before I watched it, so I was more, watching every little detail. And I mean, there's so many things that might not even mean anything, but there's a lot of stuff that I do think means things. So here we go. Right off the bat here, we got what I think is the sun simulator, and not the real sun from this first part. I hope this comes out right too. And it's bright white, doesn't look orange or yellow at all. Lots of lens flares, lots of weird refractions. The real sun would not do that. Look at that. That's crazy looking. Then we got right here after that, let me pause it, to the right over here. It doesn't look like a head with a face, some eyes, and a body. So we got I don't think that has anything to do with anything. But then it forms into another face, but look it looks like a robot with its face off. Next one is another sun simulator thing, where I think that they do this in shows and movies where they put the sun and you see it's like the center of the sun. Stop. Didn't stop. Why isn't it stopping? Okay, it didn't stop. All right. They put the sun right on the edge of something, so you see the little, that's where the center of it is, and you see the light around it. And you see it like reflected on the building a little bit. That's I think that's like them mocking everybody, showing us that this not the real sun, but nobody sees it. Not that this has anything to do with, the movie. The next thing is the 666. If you look, we got the coffee mug to the left, and then the clock is at 6, and then there's another coffee mug over there with a 6. But what if it's really not that and they're trying to show something else? Now, if you look on the mug on the left, it's like a 76. And it's like the 1776, 1976 bicentennial thing. It's got the stars around it, right? So everyone was thinking it was 666, and then it's at 6:30. If they wanted to make it 666, I think they would have put it at 6 o'clock and not 6:30. And then that's not actually a mug. I think that's a alarm clock over here where it shows 6, but the rest of it's cut off. Right? But anyway, so I decided to look up something. Instead of putting in 666, how about 7666? And here's what we come up with that. We get a bill Bill H.R. 7666, Restoring Hope for Mental Health and Well-Being Act of 2022. Not sure if this has anything to do with it, but I'm throwing it out there. So they actually had this from earlier, and it died in the House, or it passed by the House, but never passed the Senate. Okay, and then they brought it up again. They have a bookshelf off in the background. The only one that stands out to me is the Off the Cliff. Not sure if that has anything to do with it. Off the Cliff, if you look that up, it's Thelma and Louise. Remember when they went off the cliff in the car? It's a book about that. Going to throw this out here. All these lines intersecting. Maybe it's like magnetic waves. Something crazy. Magnetic fields. Or maybe it's saying frequencies, something like that. It's kind of, because there's a lot of that within this movie. All right, the couple arrive at the house, and on the clock, of course, the options are in the way. Why isn't it playing? All right, stop. All right, so it's on the clock. It's 11:16, maybe 11:17. Thought it was 11:17 at first, but maybe it's 11:16. Don't know if that has anything to do with anything either. I want you to notice this. They have a painting that's on the wall back there. This one looks totally different from all the other ones. But in the movie, maybe it's in a different part of the room. Yeah, it might be in the other living room. There's another painting, and every time the scene changes, the painting changes too. And I'll show you when we get there. Okay, so here's the painting the first time it's shown. Now, it's the same area of the house. I wish I could get this thing to stay. It's the same painting, the same area, I should say, but every time it's changed. It still looks like it's in black and white, and it's got all the weird stuff in there, but it's different. And it's been different a lot. Whoa. Face. But anyway, so everybody was trying to speculate, what does these paintings mean? But somebody brought up that maybe it's representing the Schumann resonance. And I was like, wow, because it is kind of weird how it like spikes. It has its times when it spikes and everything. So maybe it's Schumann resonance. Ooh, I see like an eye, like a cat's eye. All right, anyway, moving on. At this point in the movie, there in the background, music is playing. It's by a band named Blackstreet. Never Gonna Let You Go. Don't know if that has any meaning or not, but I'm throwing it out there. Okay, here's she goes into town to get some groceries and stops at this marketplace called Point Comfort. And it has really specific meaning, but it's coming up later. Don't know if these clocks, it looks like there's one that's like a barometric pressure or something. We used to have that in the house before. All right, this next part, you got this circle. I think that possibly this thing right in the middle might mean something. This part around here. Isn't that like a symbol for something? I cannot think of what it is, though. So you got this circle, another circle, and then another circle. I'm not sure what it's supposed to represent, but I really do think that this thing here is some kind of a symbol for something. I can't think of what it is, but it's something, another thing everybody's going around, like maybe they're getting dizzy or something, which is what could be these frequencies cause, maybe. Now in this movie, this little girl here, she's 13 in the movie, she's like more perceptive to everything that's going on than anybody else is. She's the one who spots the ship off in the distance. And then I gotta get to it. Hold on. Okay, so when all this starts happening, they lose internet first, then phones. They've already lost GPS navigation, so that's why this ship runs ashore, and supposedly there's other ships that ran ashore too. But the significance is the name, White Lion. And that also brings us to the Point Comfort too. So let me get to it. All right, so here's where the significance comes in. So way back in 1619, there was a Dutch ship that was called the White Lion, and it captured some enslaved Africans, and they brought them to Jamestown, Virginia. They were supposedly the first Africans in the Jamestown colony. But what's crazy about it is it says the White Lion docked at Virginia Colony's Point Comfort and traded some prisoners for food. Now in the movie, it's Point Comfort Marketplace, where they're selling food. So I don't know why they would put that in there, and there's also parts too where, and I got it on this one? It might be in the next, I think it's in the next, it'll be in part 2, because this is already running long. But yeah, I'll get to that. There's more stuff with slaves and Black history, so that part is coming up too. I don't know why they would bring this into the movie, but it's there. All right, the deer are a big part of this movie, and come on, why does it do that? I can't get it to pause for some reason. And when the deer first show up in the movie, it's just a female deer, and it's fawn. You see the face there? I see a face there now. But I got some more information on the deer. There's spiritual meanings for deer. The Celts believed that the appearance of a white hart, a rare animal, had special significance. Also associated with the spirit world and sometimes feared as an omen of death. Now that would make sense for this movie because, it was literally, like the end of the world. But then there's also some stuff about how it's like a journey towards spiritual enlightenment. And even Christians associated the white hart with Jesus himself. So deer is also associated with freedom, grace, and strength. So there's lots of deer in here. The deer in here, and there's other animals too, but it seems like the deer were more affected from whatever was going on than most of the other animals. Maybe it was the frequencies, maybe it's their, maybe when the noise was happening, which we'll get into. The noise, I think, was maybe frequencies that they used, or maybe microwaves, like the Havana thing, and they used that against the people. Next scene is also another, what I think is more proof of the sun simulator. You got the sun coming through, white, and you got these weird lens flares. One looks like a planet over on the wall. You got these weird refractions on the wall too, and maybe would be considered like rose petals, which is another proof. I knew that was going to happen. Proof of the sun simulator. I can't get this. I wish it would stay where it's at, But it keeps going, or then that thing gets in there. But look at all these other weird lens flares too over here. The normal sun wouldn't create that, and all that weird stuff over there. Another scene with the clock on the wall. This looks more definitive, like it's 11:17. Okay, now we're to the point where I don't think anybody has found this. I have not seen anybody put anything on this. It could be, I don't know if anybody did or not, but I think this could be something that nobody saw yet. Of course, makes it messed up when you. No. All right, hold on. Turn around there. All right, there. Bikini Kill. He has a shirt on, T-shirt. Bikini Kill. I looked it up, and it's an actual band. It's a punk rock band, all-female punk band. And I didn't think nothing of it, but I kind of looked into it a little more, and I found some very interesting things. And I don't think anybody's found this. Okay, I'm going to kind of scroll through this as quickly as possible. So they formed in 1990 in Olympia, Washington, and then they toured in the 90s. And then, bam, there it is. All right, so, I got it. It's too zoomed up. They got 1997, and then they didn't tour until 2019. So they took a lot of time off. But now they're doing a concert, a benefit concert. All right, so they announced that they're doing a benefit show for Children's Relief Fund. Ain't that something? So January 27th. They also have Ghost Ease on the bill. Why is it not one? And a guest speaker, Selma Al-Aswad. And if you look more into it, it shows you know more about it. And I will just put that up there so you can read. And she's based in Seattle. I'm not so sure if anything Ghost East has anything to do with it, but it's weird that that is in the movie and then they're doing a benefit show. And it sold out in 10 minutes. Next part is the actual national alert. They get enough of a signal to see that all the channels have this national alerts system. But what I thought was weird is it says that it's issued an unrecognized emergency warning. Now, I looked it up, and it's very rare for them to use that. There was a couple examples like a snow squall or like a storm surge, something that they didn't know was coming ahead of time, and they kind of just like issued the warning after the fact, I'm guessing. On the wall, there's a paint or a picture, and it's dividing the country. To me, it looks like it's in fours, right? Country's in fours. Later on, it changes, and I'll show you. It'll be in part 2, though. This is long. Here's where the map comes up of the cyber attacks and the low, moderate, substantial, or high impact areas. The East Coast got hit the worst, and of course, you know, California and Washington, Oregon. And with it came power outages. They were getting information leaked here and there that there was a cyber attack that caused all this power outages and everything. Now, they were out in the country, so they never lost power. They never lost water. But they never had any signal, any internet, no phones. But they had power the whole entire time. I guess they were out of the area that got hit bad, the city. And they were in the country of near New York City. All right, here comes the sun simulator again. I went back too far. Sun simulator. Notice how white and not round. It's not round. The sun used to be round. In this part, she had her phone where it must have got a signal for a little while, and you know everything came through. This is where she got the news that there was a power failures and supposed hackers behind it. But then this one, I don't know if that means anything either. It looks like maybe gibberish, but if anybody can figure out if there's any meaning in that. Never know. All right, that's going to conclude part one. I didn't realize it was going to be this long of a video, and I got a lot more. But the one thing with the bikini kill, I haven't heard anybody talk about that. It's just weird, weird that they had that banned, and then they're doing a benefit for what's going on in the world right now, and it was brought up in this movie. All right, thanks for watching. Love you guys. Stay tuned for part 2. I'm sure there's going to be at least a part 3 also. Sorry that it's so long, but there's a lot in there. And if there's anybody that can add to this or find another meaning in something, please let me know. Put it in the comments. Love you guys. God bless.